Oh, we back with another one. We are back with another one, man. Welcome to another edition of True Spill, number six, man. Being brought to you by CL Management, DV Tracksuits. Big shout out to the mighty LDBC. I went ahead and started a little early while we wait on Coach ER. I wanted to go ahead and get a microphone check. I did a little adjustment on my microphone, so I kind of wanted to see if I wanted to see if the microphone is working out nicely and all that, man. Trying something a little bit different. I'm streaming this time. I'm trying to stream to YouTube, my Facebook, and also my Twitter/X account, man. So shout out to the people on Facebook. Shout out to the people who are gonna be tuning in through X, and of course my people right here on YouTube, man. I'm just trying to experiment a little bit, man, and try to explore and see the horizons, man. I may even add some more areas for me to go ahead and stream at one time. I kind of like the way the Instagram one went yesterday, but the problem with that one is it didn't save my live on Instagram. So that was kind of like a bummer. You know what I'm saying? I see Mr. Shelton and Mark Wonderlig is in the building. TD Sports Talk is in the building, man. Salute to y'all. Um, I am a little bit early, man. Is the microphone sounding pretty good? Because I did make a change to my mic and I wanted to make sure that it was coming in crispy. Shawala ya, my sister. Shalom. You know, I'm just trying to see how crispy the microphone is sounding. Hopefully, it's sounding good. Um, I've been dying to do this live with the coach Eric Roman Sr. He's a good friend of mine. We're gonna be doing something a little different. I don't kind of want to make it. Eric, oh, what's good with you, man? I didn't want to make it too much like an interview, right? Because he's a good friend of mine. But I wanted to kind of open up the floor between me and him and have a little dialogue. I made it. You sound good. Okay, sounds good. 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 Because I was getting a lot of background noise and shit. So I put a. I don't even know if y'all can see this or not. I put a right here in this corner. I put a foam pad over my microphone, man, to try to clear up some of that behind the scenes noise. Don't pay no mind to this. This is not working. I can actually put it up. It just looks a little whack up, so I just put it down like that, you know. But like I said, this ain't going to be really an interview. It's probably going to be more like us going over topics that I've probably already went over, but we're going to go kick it back and forth. Now, with that being said, y'all are still going to be available to ask them questions. So if y'all do have questions for Coach ER, then that's going to be good to go as well, man. And we got Eric Roman
Yo,
Sr., my
yo, talk
brother,
to me.
man. How
What's
you
going
doing,
on?
bro?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on.
Hey man, I was letting these folks know, man, that I didn't really want to kind of like interview you because you're one of my boys, and I kind of wanted to do something a little different and kind of have a
Okay.
little dialogue about what's going on in boxing. And
Yes, sir.
uh, but before we get started, man, I am going to ask you an interview question just for the viewing audience, man, to let them know who you are, what you do, and who you work with and stuff.
Okay.
So go for it, bro.
You didn't ask the question yet.
I said, let them know who you are, who you work
Now,
with,
listen.
and what you do in the game.
Okay. It's Eric Roman. Yes, sir. ER from Brooklyn, New York, by way of Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. And, I trained a lot of New York and New Jersey's elite amateurs and pros. Some of the names you know, some you don't, some you're about to find out about, and that's what it is.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And we can never do a live without asking about Malito Roman. I have to know. Now, for those of y'all don't know, Eric Malito Roman, that's Junior, right? When I first met him
That's
and
correct.
actually interviewed him, I think he was 12 or 13 years old. Give us an update on your son. Let us know. He is a boxer, so let us know. Give us a rundown on him so the people can look out for him as well.
Yeah, he's 18 now, and he's making a run at this year's Golden Gloves. It'll be his. He's finally old enough to compete in the Golden Gloves. Over here, they don't really do the juniors and all that stuff. There's no Golden Glove nationals for there was like recently they just brought it back, but now he gets to fight in the elite men's division Golden Glove. So this is pretty big for him. Which starts February 1st out here in New York, and then from New York, if he wins here or when he wins here, we'll be on our way to the nationals and winning that title. So that's basically what's going on with him right now. He's been in the gym. He had a layoff for about a year. You know, he took some time off and he got back this year. Well, late last year, and you know, we rolling again. So everything is looking good for him.
Man, I really am. I really do got a lot of high hopes for his son, man. I'm a big fan of Malito Roman. I'm
Hmm.
dying to see him in the pros. I know I got to be patient. I know I got to be patient, but you know how us fanatics are, and
Of course.
I believe I treat him like family anyway, so that adds a
Hmm.
little extra spice to it. I really think he's gonna go far. I think he's talented. He's in good hands. For those of y'all don't know, Eric Roman Sr. He's a tremendous coach, man, and trainer,
Thank you.
and teacher, a teacher as
Hmm.
well, man. Because
Right.
a lot of these people, I was at Nate Campbell's gym. I mean, me and him, we go back, we're neighbors and all that, and
Hmm.
he was talking about, and this, by the way, there's nothing wrong with the pads, and stuff like that. But we were talking about how some of these trainers really aren't trainers, and all they do is hold the pads, and they don't have any teachings behind it. And
Right.
I've always been one that uh, I don't mind using the pads. I got them myself, but I use them as a tool to warm them up. I don't use it as a tool to them like, okay, this is what we're gonna do and da 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 da. No, there's more to it than that, man. Did you want to chime in on what me and Nate was talking about when we were talking about that subject? Because I mean, it does make a difference in the way you train.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody uses the pads differently nowadays, you know. In the old days, it was taught, or they were used more to teach, you know, the craft. Nowadays, people use it for to look cool or, you know, to get views on Instagram and all that stuff, you know, which is cool too if that's what you're into. But if you're a real coach, you know, you should be able to use them properly. And, you know, for all you fighters or up and coming people that's just getting into boxing, you know, be careful with who you're doing the pads with because it may look cool, but they don't know what the reasoning is for. You know what I'm saying? Like I see guys throwing three straight right hands in a row. You know, like come on, give me a 2-2-2. I'm like, what you gonna do with that, man? Like, come on, man. You know what I mean? It's some of them, some of what they doing is just crazy, outlandish. You know what I mean? For me, I try to make pad work uh, intense but purposeful, right? So like everything is like sometimes I get combinations from a fight that I studied. You know, I might
Mhm.
watch Mike McCallum all night and say, "Oh man, that ninth round, he did this crazy combo off a slip," and I'll insert that in my pad work. You know, because I know it's real. It came from a real fight. You know,
Right.
I use real time speed. You know, in my pad work. I don't use like what these guys are doing with the patty cake stuff. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, I could do that too. Like, I get busy with it, but as I've grown and I've evolved as a coach, I've learned that you got to make it make sense. You know, so although I could train a fighter without pad work as well. You know, I've gone camps where I've rarely done pad work. You know, all the old school trainers do it like that. I had a dope conversation once with Don Turner. You remember him, right?
Yes. Yes.
Great trainer, trained Evander Holyfield amongst other world champions. And he asked me one time. He said, "Do you use the pads?" And I said, "I do." And he got mad at me. And he said, "Come on, coach, man." He was like, "Man, you don't need that, man." You know. And his thought process on the pads was interesting. You know, like he said, like he put my hands up. He said, "Come on, throw your right hand." You know. And so I threw my right hand, and his hand went back, boom, just like the pad would, right? And he
Mhm.
goes, now throw your left hook, right? So I threw my left hook, but his hand was still back here, and then my left hook went this way because most of the time you hold the pads here, boom, boom, right? But he said, but if you land your right hand, how you gonna land that left hook? It's not real, he said.
Mhm.
And I said, okay, I see what you're saying, you know. So you can modify it a little bit. He made me realize, like, maybe modify my pad work to make it look more real, you know. And so, you know, everybody has their own thoughts on pads. For me, I like to use them. I don't use them every day. Some guys want the pads every day, every day. You know, I try to keep it at a minimum, I use the noodles as well, that's good for defense and stuff. So everything, has his reasoning behind it.
Nate absolutely hates them. I have them and I use them, but I use them differently than you as well. I use them just to warm
Hmm.
them up, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to explain, Nate. I like, look, it's just for them to warm up. I'm not doing it as like if we're going into a fight or something, because I do got some fighters that I walk out and stuff like that and work their corner from time to
Right.
time. And it's just for me to warm them up, man, and get them to break a sweat. It's not really more than that, man. And I understood his breakdown because he said, man, when you're in a fight, this ain't what you're gonna be seeing. You're gonna be seeing this coming at you. So this
Hmm.
ain't realistic, and that's why he hates it. But to each his own, like I said, man, it does have, to me, it has a place if you use it correctly,
Right.
And
Yeah,
for
I
me,
agree.
it's a warm up, and I don't know if
Okay.
that's just a warm up for me. Let it warm them up,
Hmm.
and stuff
Hmm.
like that. I want to pick your brain as a trainer, though, man. Like if you're getting somebody in that's brand new in the gym, brand new, never boxed before, they might have fought in the streets all their life, never boxed though. What is the first thing that you're gonna work on with that fight with that individual, man?
Mm. Um, so yeah, everybody's a little bit different, but for me,
Hmm.
um, obviously I'm a fundamentalist, so the stance is big for me, right?
That's
Like
okay.
your foundation, when you build a house, you gotta lay the concrete first, right? So for me, it's your foot placement, your feet, right? And your stance and understanding why you stand in that way. Everybody feels weird at first, especially somebody that comes in at an older age. A younger kid's a little easier they adapt better. But somebody to stand in the proper stance, right? Like the first day in the gym, second day in the gym, they always feel super weird. But the stance is so important. And there's coaches out there that don't care about that. Like that's the
Right.
simplest thing. It's the stance. And I hate to see it when a coach kind of just says, okay, here, put your hands up. Okay, this is how you throw the jab in the right hand and the left hook. And no, whoa, 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 stop that. Like, you're not doing all that. Hold
Yeah.
on. First of all, this is where you put your feet, right? Um, put your hands up, bend at the waist a little bit, bend your knees, right? All that kind of stuff. And then after they understand that, I'll teach them the jab. And they might work on the jab alone for days before I teach them a right hand. But I break every punch down with a beginner. It's very slow pace for me when you come to the gym. Like a
I
newbie is gonna
agree.
have a hard time if they are like got ADHD or something, or because
Mhm.
my shit is slow pace, man. I need you to understand and know, and I need to know that you're doing it properly, right? Especially with just a regular old 1-2. I need to know that you're putting your waist behind your punch, that you turning that foot over and putting your body into that punch. And those simple things. There's a lot of quote unquote coaches that don't even care about none of that stuff, man. And then a week later, them dudes are sparring, and 2 months later, that dude's in a real fight, USA Boxing in the local show, getting knocked out. They all get knocked out. There's
Yep.
not. It's not a. It's 100% knockout ratio for them guys.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, and it's kind of pathetic to me, to see that. So for me, it's the stance, it's the basic fundamentals, the 1-2, and I might teach you a little bit of defense early on as well.
Thank
So
you.
footwork and defense is super important in the beginning stages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Along with the
Agree
one
with you,
two.
man. I agree with you 1,000%, man. I remember, I have conversation with Flats, a good friend of ours,
Yeah.
and he
Shout
was telling.
out Flats.
Shout out to Flats. All call outs are mandatory.
That's right.
I remember him telling me, man, when we was having conversations, man, he said, bro, I said, they didn't even allow me to throw a punch until I learned my stance and defense.
Mm-hmm.
They would not
Mm-hmm.
allow me to throw a punch,
Yeah.
and it goes to show that what you're saying it goes right in line with that, man. And
Mm-hmm.
by the way, you teach one hell of a jab, man. I
Mm-hmm.
tell people all the time, man, that the jab you teach like a three-pace jab, man, but the main jab you have is that snapping jab that it's almost like
Mm-hmm.
a power punch, man. Can you talk about what attracted you to teach that?
Yeah, my coach, Dave Clark, rest in peace for him. He had me throwing that jab like religiously, every day, nonstop, like over and over and over. And he learned it from being in the gym with some of the top guys that he was around, Aaron Pryor, Larry Holmes, um, amongst guys that he worked with. He had world champion James Waring, cruiserweight IBF world champion in the 90s. He had a real snappy jab. Believe it or not, Robert Little Joe Daniels, um, also WBA cruiserweight champ, he had a snappy jab, even though he was a little cruiserweight, short, 5'10", stocky dude, but had a real snappy jab, and I know because I felt it a few times in
Oh,
sparring, and I just picked up on it, and I realized like without this you can't win, without this, this is the jab that the greats have. And so I instill it in all of my fighters. If I don't train all my fighters the same, I will say that. I train them to their abilities, what their DNA is good at, right?
mm.
But I will say they all do have that jab, all of them, down from Edgar Berlanga all the way down to my son Malito. They all had it.
That was my next topic right there.
Okay.
Because I really want to bring this up because I think, and I've spoken to this exhaustively, but I don't think people understand me or believe me when it comes to Edgar Berlanga. You
Hmm.
are firsthand witness to what I'm telling them is the truth, okay?
Hmm.
But I've always told him when he went, I don't want to say the coach's name, okay? But when he went there, I didn't
Hmm.
like what he was doing because
Hmm.
me and you both know that in the beginning, in his younger days, he actually can box and can work
Hmm.
behind a jab. And where he went to kind of took him away from that. And now that he's over there with Mark Ferret, I think he's going back to that again.
Yeah.
But I would like you to go ahead and speak on that with Edgar Berlanga because they're not going to believe me. You worked with him.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a pure boxer when I had him. You know, like I said, I'm a fundamentalist, so I like to stick to the uh the game plan of like the basics, and then if you have the the God-given ability and skill, and if you're blessed with speed, if you're blessed with good feet, if you're blessed with twitch muscles and all that, then I could work all that into it. So for him, he was blessed with a lot, and the last thing that we really ever used was power with him. You know, although he was young and his power was still evolving and growing, he had some, but he wasn't like a pure knockout artist
Right.
as a youngster. And so we worked on footwork. We worked on his movement in the ring. Which is funny. I was with a young kid I'm working with now who's ranked number 2 in the nation. Shout out to Ramon Ordonez from Newark, New Jersey, another Boricua on the come up. He's out with in Colorado right now with Team USA. But he had never seen my work with Berlanga, and so I showed him and his pops, and they were like, well, I've never seen him move like this before.
Right. Right.
And I said, yeah, he was a pure boxer, and they were like, holy shit. A lot of like, the stuff that you might see in my son, he was doing it first. My son was a
Right.
baby at that time, he
Right.
was little. And so, it's just the way that we worked on things. So when he moved on, he went to Mark first, and then he started the knockout streak with Mark after
Right.
me.
Mhm.
But whatever had happened with the management at that time, where he left Mark and then went to the other guys, I'll say, because it wasn't just one guy; it was a few guys he bounced around to.
I didn't
He
want to
got
say no names
lost.
'cause I don't want to disrespect nobody. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
of course, neither do I, and I wouldn't, because some of them guys made world champions, so I'm not gonna,
Yeah. Yeah.
knock nobody. And some of them are and they're my friends. I would say all of them guys are my friends. And so it's just sometimes you get with somebody and you have an idea of what you want. You look at this kid. He's at the time I think he was 12-0 with 12 first round knockouts. So what
Mhm.
do you think? Oh, I got a knockout artist. So now
Mhm.
you're trying to turn him into Tito Trinidad. Well, he's
Right.
not Tito Trinidad, man. He's Edgar Berlanga, right? But now you're drilling in his mind. No, man, you're a knockout artist, bro. You just one punch, you're gonna knock all these guys out. You start to believe your own hype. You start believing them. You start believing the fan base. You start believing ESPN. You on TV, you're looking at your highlight reel. Oh, damn, I'm really that dude, you know? And you forget about that coach ER jab. You forget about
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that stuff that was worked on early on in your career. Maybe I didn't need all that. I got this now. I got the rocket launcher. And he got lost, you
Mhm.
know? And I think it was a blessing for him to go back to Mark because they
Mhm.
had unfinished business, right? Mark was grooming him not just to be a knockout artist, but to be the full package. Mark knew what he had when he got him from me.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
knew. That just so happened they went on a beautiful knockout streak. That was awesome.
Right.
That made him made him famous. And when Mark got him back, I wish it would have been a little earlier. I
Right.
wish it would have
Yeah.
been earlier
Me
because
too.
now we can honestly say he might have beaten Canelo. Because
I
everybody
believe.
was, oh, he gonna get knocked out. He can't hang with Canelo, all that stuff. And he hung with him. He damn sure did, right? He gave him a rough night. He lost, sure, but if he had Mark for, say, maybe 3 fights before when he got him, he might have been in a better position to win that fight.
You know what I
So,
said going into that fight? I said, look, they're not going to turn that fight down, but I know that Mark wishes he would have had maybe at least
I
2 more
did.
training camps with him,
Of
at least,
course, of course.
But the
Yeah.
people don't understand when that offer comes across your table, bro, you have to take that,
Oh
bro.
yeah. Come on, that's the
You have
lotto. That's
to
the
take
lottery. You hit the lotto.
you
You
know?
know.
But
You
even
hit the
Mark
lottery.
will tell you himself. Mark will tell you himself he wanted at least 1 or 2, at least 2 more fights with him
Of course.
before going into that. But
Hmm.
hey, when the rubber meets the you got to go for it. You got to roll the dice and let's
That's
roll with it. Not,
that's
I
right.
felt he gave a good account of himself, man.
So did I. So did
You
I.
know,
Yeah.
I don't
Win,
think
win,
he had,
lose or draw for him, he won that night. You
yes,
know.
yes,
So
yes. But so what do you think the future holds for him, man? I'm hearing that Williams Cole as a possible fight. I know that people are saying, "Oh, he ain't gonna get that fight." You never know; he might get it.
mhm.
You know, that'll be a
Yeah.
title shot.
Yeah. Only thing I worry about with that fight is the weight hydration for the IBF, the 10-pound rule.
Ah, yeah, 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 yeah,
Then he came into the Canelo fight at 193 on fight night, a lot more than 168, a lot more than 10 pounds.
yeah.
Can he get on fight day be 178 and be healthy? You know, we just saw my boy Richardson Hitchens win the world title in the IBF. He had trouble with the weight hydration clause when he fought Limos,
Yeah.
and he fixed it. Right, he did everything wrong for the Limos fight, going into that. Went into that fight drained. Uh, he also went into the fight. A lot of people don't know this part, but he went in with one hand. He had to take cortisone shots in his hand,
Yeah.
so he had no right hand for that fight. It was he was a one-handed fighter, and so all that played into it. But the rehydration clothes what really hurt him. He had no legs. He was shot. So for this, when he fought for the title against Leon Paro, he did everything right. The Lemos fight was really a learning experience. This is why Hitchens is so great, right? A lot of fighters don't learn from their own mistakes,
Yep.
right? He went back to the drawing board and said, I am not gonna mess this up. For the Lemos fight, he did like a 7-week training camp. Didn't eat properly, did everything wrong. For the Paro fight, he did a 10-week training camp. Did everything right, listened to his nutritionist, he listened to his strength and conditioning coach, he listened to his coach. They did everything properly to this fight, perfect, and you saw the outcome. Can Edgar do the same thing? Can he go in and say, not that he did anything wrong against the Canelo fight for the training, but he did come in heavy on fight night.
Yeah.
Is he going to be able to do everything properly? Because it's going to be his first time doing this. Not rehydrating more than 10 pounds
Right.
overnight. That's tough. That's the only thing that worries me about that. Other than that, he'll knock William Skull's head off.
Yeah, man. I tell you what, Coach, man, you are my brother for sure. Because Richardson Hishings was my next damn topic. That's why I was laughing and smiling when you mentioned him. I was like,
Me
God
too.
damn, man, that's what I'm going through next. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I did know about the stuff going into the Lemos fight beforehand. I mean,
Yeah.
because with me and Coach Lenny was texting back and forth and all that
Yeah.
stuff. For those of you who don't know, that's who works with Richardson Hitchings and stuff. The only thing I just didn't make it public because I wanted the fight to play out and let people.
No, of course. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man. Because you know how the social media is. Oh, here come the excuses. Oh, here come that, man. And I think, and I said this yesterday on my live because I was live yesterday, man. I said that Richardson Hitchings is a phenomenal boxer. One, okay. Two, he's very underrated. A lot of people don't really know what they're looking at with him. The third thing is he's got more power than what they think. Okay. And the way I explained it to him, Coach, was like, look, if you watch the fights that he knows, okay, see, this is where you have to have been in the ring to understand what we're talking about here. If you're in there with somebody that you got to get in and out quick, you're not going to sit on your punches. You're going to throw your punches to score and get out. And then when you don't sit on them, you're able to move out of harm's way quicker. And I told him to go back and look at the Bowser fight where he actually sat on his punches. I wanted you to know a little bit of, yes. Look, I don't know how else to explain it to these folks, but could you speak on Richardson Hitchens? Because you have firsthand seen him in the gym and seen a lot of the things with him, man. Because I think he's very misunderstood and underrated.
Yeah, the reason is because people, they say he's quote unquote boring, right? They put him in the same category with Shakur and them, right? And that's okay. I'm cool with him being in the category with Shakur. He's a phenomenal boxer. If you talk to Richardson, he'll tell you straight up that Shakur is a big reason of why he is who he is. They have many rounds in the gym sparring together. They came up together as youngsters. And I think what people are misunderstood about is it's not so much that he has power, right? He's precise, he's accurate. And accuracy, pinpoint accuracy combined with quickness hurts, right? Like you may not think it's watching from TV, man, you don't hit hard. But when you get in there and you go pop, and especially that jab is in your face all night, and you just cannot time it because he switches speeds on it, right?
Yes.
So because of that, it's a
Hang on, he got a call, I think. Yeah, got a call, man, because I'm not hearing you right now. Maybe it'll come back in a second. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. Maybe it muted you. I don't know what happened. Hopefully, it doesn't make you go out and come back in, but that may be what has to happen. I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yep, I can hear you now. Yep.
I can't hear you.
Oh man, go out and come back in.
I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna come back in.
Okay. Yeah, man, this is going a lot. This is going really nice, man. I like the way this conversation is going, man. It's coming from a perspective, man, where you might be able to understand the ins and outs and the nuances of what goes into boxing, man, and what goes into these fighters' minds and how they think when they're going into these fights and stuff, man. Man, it's a lot that goes into it, man. And this is why I say, man, a lot of these fighters are misunderstood, misjudged, and they don't get.
Okay.
All right, we should be good now, right?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
my fault. So
We was
where
on
was
Richardson
I?
Hitching.
Yeah, so I was saying he got stinging power, right? So it does hurt when you're in there, you know? You can't be in front of a grown man and say, "Oh, he don't hit hard, man." Bro, at some point everybody got a little power in that ring, you know? Sweet Pea
Yeah.
Whitaker had power, Camacho had power. It's just they weren't knockout artists. That's a different aspect of this craft,
Mhm.
right? They don't really he don't really sit on his punches. He moves. You
Mhm.
know, he's a mover. He's a pure boxer, but don't mean he can't hurt you. You know, ask John Bowser. You know,
Mhm.
ask what's the other kid he fought that Power fought too, the Puerto Rican kid. I forgot his name. But he stopped
Oh,
him.
Yomar Alamo.
Alamo. He stopped
Yeah.
Alamo. You know, if
Yeah.
he didn't have no power, how he stopped Alamo?
Right. And
You know,
Alamo's a tough kid, by the way.
yeah, it's tough as nails. He went 12 with Paro, didn't he? 10 or 12 with
Yeah.
him. You
Yeah.
know, and Paro, you know, could punch. You
Yeah.
know, so you know,
That's the thing about it too, coach, man, that a lot of these people don't do their homework on these fighters and they think they're fighting nobodies. Those were not nobodies. That's
hell
that's
no.
that kills me with this generation, man. Like, bro,
Yeah,
you
those are great fighters to build on, to really challenge you. You know, and to build your confidence on. Right, you beat those guys. Hey, listen, I remember John Bowser as an amateur in Jersey
Mhm.
was a big deal. You know, like Alamo in Puerto Rico, kind of a big deal. Like, you know, they turned pro. They had high hopes for these guys, undefeated. You know,
Even
so
though, hey,
now what?
Alamo's family hates my guts, but that's beside the point.
So you don't get that in this industry
Yeah,
though, right?
they had no choice but to get over it, coach, because they had no choice but to get over it.
That's right. Can't hate Kano. That was wrong with you.
And, hey, man, it all happened in person at least, so it was like air and opportunity there, you know.
Hey, that's the best
Me,
way.
coach, hey, I'm right here, blah blah blah
Yep.
blah blah. Same thing happened with damn, what's his name? Shit. Oh man, the prodigy.
Okay.
What the
Oh, Josue,
Josue
your
Vargas, yeah, man,
boy.
man, we got into it at an event too, man. That's Nestor Bro was like, "Oh shit, dog, I didn't know y'all was beefing," and da da da. I'm like, hey, but a lot of these people don't know, man. I be there, well, we was at an event together, man. You know how
Yep.
it is, man.
Hmm.
I don't duck or dodge no smoke or nothing like that,
Nope.
man. I mean, when I say something, I mean it, And
Hmm.
that's the thing about it though, man. Like if you're not willing to take the truth, then you're soft to me. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I look at it, if you can't take the truth, I'm not gonna lie to you,
That's right. Me neither. I don't sugarcoat shit. You
and
know.
but let's get back to Richards and Hitchens because I know it ain't final. I know they're still going back and forth. I don't even know if they're even negotiating or not. But I wanted to get your take, man, on Richards and Hitchens at a possible bout with Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting what's going on right now. I haven't really been able to talk to. So we got big news, right? Teofimo Lopez just signed with Keith Connolly. right? Well, that means that Hitchens and Teofimo now share a manager. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if I know Keith, like I know Keith,
Mm-hmm.
he don't pit his fighters together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he won't. But I
Right.
can't remember a time when he really did, only besides when it was big money involved and it was a world title involved with Danny Jacobs and Sergey Devinchenko. I can't remember any other time that he did it. So will he do it? Yeah, he'll do it.
Yeah.
Will he do it as soon as he just signed his fighter, Lopez? I don't know. I would think he would like a few paydays before, you know, Hitchens goes in and beats him or vice versa, right?
Oh, man. Come
I
on,
think
stop
it's a
right
I
there.
think it's
Stop
I
right
think
there.
it's a great fight.
Teofimo. Hitchens
Huh?
Teofimo.
Yeah, I
That,
think it's a, I think yeah, I mean, obviously you know who I'm riding with.
yeah, yeah.
Especially after Tio said what he said about Puerto Ricans and stuff, right? But
Oh, man.
but we all know he's a what they said about him. Ryan Garcia said the other day he's a strange guy. He's a strange guy, you know.
I don't
He's
think I could be in the same place with Tio, bro. I don't think I will not be able to contain myself, bro.
yeah.
Bro, man, I'm just too proud for that, bro. When he talk about
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans, I'm just too proud for it, man. And I don't think people understand it because us Puerto Ricans, we real proud, bro. Like we don't
Hmm.
that shit right there. It ain't just me, man. A true Puerto Rican is not really gonna be. They're gonna be bothered really bad by that, man. I don't think, man. If we're in the same room, I might slap him, bro. For real,
Yeah.
for real, man. I mean, like
It's funny though, right? Because he was just in Puerto Rico with the WBO.
I know, and I can't
So
understand how they let him ride
it's
like
like, oh damn, y'all let him ride, but you didn't say nothing to him. I don't know. Maybe they did, and he apologized. I don't know. You
that.
know.
Man, look, I don't know, bro. He ain't,
But
man.
in a fight between Hitchens and Tio, obviously I think that Hitchens will outbox him. Uh, I think that it's a good fight though. It's a hell of a good fight. But I know that Hitchens has a chip on his shoulder because Teofimo claims he's from Brooklyn when he really was raised in Florida.
Hey,
And
we don't want him over here.
and and hey, and he's one of your boys, But
No.
nah, it's almost like Hitchens feels like it's stolen valor, right? Like he grew up in the trenches for real. He grew up in the hood out here. He went through the pain and the struggle with his mom and his brother growing up. You know, he did have to kind of like reroute his way to school and doing everything, trying to get away from violence and all that. He had to go through that as a kid, right? Until Fimo grew up in a nice neighborhood in Florida, in a nice house with his parents. And that bothers, I think, Richardson, like I think it makes him feel like, why you lying, bro? Like you're not from here. You didn't
Right.
do any of that stuff. Like stop claiming my world. Like you had it good, bro. Like just claim that. It's cool. Yeah, sure. You were born in a hospital here in Brooklyn. We get it. But your mom and dad moved baby Teofimo when he was a newborn to sunny hot Florida, and you ain't see what I seen growing up, you know. So um, I think that it makes for an interesting build up to the fight. You know what I mean?
I
Like
could see Theo getting dropped by Hitchens in that fight.
like I said, accuracy is a hell of a thing, man. And it depends on what Teal shows up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we get the Teal from the Cambosis fight, obviously he's cooked. But that Teal's not showing up. Trust me.
I
That
think he
Teal,
regardless, dog. I got Richards and Hitchens all day. I don't give a fuck.
me too. But you can't sleep on Teofimo. He's a great fighter. He's a world champion. He's the he's the lineal 140-pound champ of the world. You have to respect him and go into that fight like you're going in with one of the top guys, which you are. You know, if you're Hitchens, that's the hardest fight of your life up until this point. No doubt about it. Teofimo Lopez is maybe not in the top 10 pound for pound anymore. He once was, but if he isn't right now, he's right outside of it. You know what I mean? He's right outside of it. So you gotta respect him. The kid could box, he could fight, he could punch. Has he slipped a little bit? I wouldn't say he has, you know. I just think he's had, you know, a couple off nights. All fighters do. He was going through hell with his marriage and all that stuff. And I want to talk on that because I don't know much about it, only from, you know, hearsay. But I can say that I think that did mess with his head for a couple of them fights where he looked bad. You know, your baby mom takes money from you, all that stuff that was takes the kid, all that. Like, boy, that's bad. That's tough, man. You can't go into a fight clear minded like that.
I ain't gonna lie, Eric. I don't feel bad for him because I feel he's a racist, and I don't support no racist, man. Like I can't. You know, can he fight? Yeah, sure, cool, but you know, all the racist remarks he said, and he's talked shit about Puerto Ricans and all that. When people do that, they turn me off, man. I'm like, they're done with it. You know what I'm saying? I'm done with it, you know. But that's just me. I mean, everybody's gonna be different. That's just my view on it, man, because I can't support nothing like that, man. Like I said, that's me, man. Can he fight? Yeah, sure, he can fight, man. I mean, Canelo can fight, but I don't like him, you know, but he can fight. Yeah. He can fight, you know. Speaking of Canelo, man, Crawford and Canelo, what do you think if that fight gets made?
Okay.
What do you think?
So to this day, so the first fight I ever seen Crawford fight was when he fought. He was a fill-in on HBO, and he fought Brady's Prescott. You remember that?
Yes.
Years ago, right? He was just a up and comer, no name, right? And I saw that fight, and I told some of my fighters, "Yo, I just seen this kid. He is impressive." Like, I had to go back and rewatch the fight. I was like, "Man, this kid is good, man, like super good." Since that day, I have never bet against Bud Crawford, ever. Every fight he's been in, I said I'm riding with Crawford. And I'm not changing that. I got Bud outboxing Canelo. Is it a uphill battle? Oh, absolutely, man. It's gonna be, again, talk about the hardest fight of his life. He's gonna go through hell a little bit, you know. I think that the next fight that he fights, because obviously they're gonna have a tune-up. Both of them should have a tune-up in May. Right. Maybe it'll be on the same card. That'll be dope, right? Turkey Ali could do that.
Yeah.
And it's important, that fight for me, for Bud, because it'll be his first fight at that weight division, right? Skipping middleweight. He hasn't fought at 160. So that's a big jump from 54, where he had a rough night against Madrimov, to go straight to 68 to whoever he's going to fight there. It'll be interesting. But I believe that he's going to step in the ring in September with Canelo. He'll be beyond motivated. He'll be in supreme shape, best he's ever been in. And I think he'll pick Canelo apart.
I agree, man. And for some of those reasons you said, I also believe he's got a very high ring IQ. I don't think necessarily he's going to fight off his back foot. I think it's going to be more side to side movement.
Yeah, me too.
Canelo move his feet. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Don't let Canelo get set. Yeah.
Right. If he would move side to side and give him that movement, Canelo can never be set to throw those punches. That's
correct.
And he is very smart enough to do that and capable of doing that. I only bet one time against Crawford, and you know which time that was, and I've never
lost
against him after that. You know, I lost. I've never bet against him after that. I said I'm never betting against him no more. I do believe he's got the skill set and the ring IQ to do just that, to keep him at bay. Also, what I also analyze with that as well, and I know they're different weight classes, but I'm thinking if somebody like Mayweather, who doesn't hit halfway as hard as Crawford, can outbox Canelo and keep Canelo on the outside, Why can't Crawford do the same thing with more power?
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's got more fire in the hole to keep him second guessing from coming back in.
Hell
Like,
yeah. Hell
damn,
yeah.
this shit's stinking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to rush back in there, you know? Like, I believe
Mm-hmm.
he's got enough power going into 168 to do that. I
Mm-hmm.
really do. And it's not to say that he could knock Canelo out. I'm not saying that, folks. And I'm not saying he's going to, like, hurt him. But I think it's enough power to make him question himself.
Yeah, and say, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to walk into that. Hold on, let me think twice about that and get a little defensive until where he gets a little frustrated, you know, because he is moving and switching stances and all that stuff to where all of a sudden it's the 10th round and he's down on the cards and he catches himself and now he's like, "Fuck, it's championship rounds. I got to do something." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So like that's how I see it playing out. Let's not forget the Eddie Zandi Lara fight where he couldn't catch him either, right? All night. Lara was moving. I thought Lara won that fight. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I thought Lara won that fight, man.
Mm-hmm.
Shawwala, y'all, Shalom, my sister. Kind of both of you would know this. Is Canelo good with being turned and angles? I'm going to let you answer that. It's your floor.
No, that's why we thought he lost to Lara. That's why he lost to Floyd Mayweather. And that's why we think that Bud is gonna win. If he can turn on his feet and not let him get set, Canelo's gonna be in for a long night. It's gonna be tough, you know. Um,
I
you
think
know,
Trout beating him up too till he got knocked down.
correct, correct. That's another one. The one fight that a guy was moving a little bit on him where he did good and where I saw Canelo's best footwork was when he beat Danny Jacobs. That might be the best version of Canelo we've seen. If he can find that Canelo, then maybe it'll be different. But
I
it's
don't
gonna
think
be
Danny
tough, man.
Jacobs,
He's a little
I don't,
old now.
I don't think Jacobs has faster feet than Crawford.
No way. I'm not saying nah.
You
No
know,
way. Nah. Uh-uh.
so and Jacobs to me fought a little hesitant in that fight. I have no idea why. Okay, because that's not the Jacobs I know, but
Yeah.
whatever. That fight's over with, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I said, but that's why I said Shawwa, the side to side movement. I didn't never say backpedal, right? I said side to
Mm-hmm.
side movement. I don't want him to go on his back foot because that might play into Canelo's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the nuances, man, subtle left, subtle right, create different angles on him. You know, if he can't set, the power is not going to be completely there. You
Yeah.
know, he'll be able
Yeah.
to, get in and out with that shit, man. And
But shout out our boy Thomas. What up, Thomas?
oh, yeah,
He's
Thomas.
right.
Yeah,
Khan was moving on his ass too until he got caught. But he don't Khan ain't have the chin that Bud got. Bud is tough as nails, man. He's tough as they come. He is strong as shit too. Khan was not on that level of strength either. And trust
everybody,
me,
man. Khan's a glass chin. Everybody knew
yeah,
that.
he was a weakling. Crawford is a different animal, man. Like,
Yeah.
bro, Bud is strong, man. Strong. I'm telling you. Like, I seen him.
What?
You seen him wrestle and stuff like that on
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
videos with him. He's different, bro. He's different.
Don't worry about it, Shawwa. That's what you got me for. You got my number. You got all my information. Anytime we need information like that, just reach out. We always do anyway. You know what I mean? Shawwa actually asked me to ask you about this, and I don't know how much you want to be able to talk about it or not. I'm gonna leave that up to you, Coach, because I am a very respectful individual when it comes to certain subjects and stuff. But she wanted to get sort of an update on Khalil Cole. I'll put it like that.
Okay. An update of like when he's fighting again, or an update of what happened, or an update of a little bit of everything. You just leaving the floor
Yeah,
open.
I'm leaving it up to you, man, because that way I don't have to be forced to ask you anything specifically. You can answer more broader, however you want, man. That fair?
Yeah, that's fine. So things happen in boxing, right? We go through it's an emotional roller coaster, you know. Um, Khalil's had an up and down career from the day he turned pro. You know, they brought me in to to help. You know, at the end of the day, you know, I wasn't there for his first two professional fights. Um, he was 1-0-1. He had a draw against, you know, a guy that was not on his level at all. And he had that draw because he went into that fight out of shape. He didn't train, and he knows that. You know, he knows he didn't do what he had to do in the gym. He didn't have the right team behind him, and they brought him to me specifically because I do what I do. I am who I am. No nonsense. You know, and I'm known to fix things. You know, and so the first thing I did was I built a team around him. I built him a team of professionals, people that I knew were going to hold him accountable. Okay. Um, we did great. You know, we brought him back. He he started looking like the superstar that he was. Somewhere along the line, the team that I built got dismantled,
Mhm.
and they started bringing in their own guys. And um, you know, all I can say is that I tried my best, but when you have a fighter that, you know, a lot like Berlanga was when he left Mark,
Yeah.
they get lost. They start listening to everybody. They start believing their own hype. When you have a fighter that gets to that level, it's hard for them to see that
Mhm.
what you're speaking to them is truth, right? I'm not a yes man. I've never been a yes man in my life, and I never will be a yes man ever. And if that's what you want around you as a fighter, you're gonna have a pretty shitty career because it don't end well ever. And so for me, uh, he was fighting. He was supposed to fight um, Manuel Gallegos. We went to camp for Manuel Gallegos, and um, I left. I wasn't happy with any of it. I left on my own merit. I bowed out gracefully, and to me, there was no love lost. You know, I still care about him. I'm still rooting for him. You know, um, fortunately for him, he didn't fight Gallegos. That Gallegos pulled out of that fight, so he fought somebody else, and he got the knockout. Which I didn't think he looked good in that fight, even though it was 2 rounds. But I'm very particular about, you know, like I said, the fundamentals and what you can do with your skill. Khalil Ko is a phenomenal fighter. He has phenomenal skill. He is, I mean, to this day, I would say he's the most talented fighter I've ever trained in my life. You know, being a world champion was really up to him. You know, so when I left, uh, I can't tell you what happened in that training camp. You know, I can't tell you what happened when they put the Manuel Gallegos fight back on and he went into camp again with him. I wasn't there for any of it. So, um, but I can tell you that it whatever it was, it played out in the ring
Mhm.
because there's no reason why he shouldn't beat Manuel Gallegos. He should smoke that guy. He has everything in his ability and it to put that guy out in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But whatever happened, it happened, and he's got to learn from that. He's got to wake up and say, you know what, this wasn't right. What was working for me before that didn't work for me for that camp and that night. And he
Mhm.
has to eliminate all that and he has to fix it. So, the ball's in his court now. I heard he's having an immediate rematch with Gallegos sometime early this year. You know, I wish him the best. I hope that he finds himself, and if he does, he'll be back on track.
I'm a big fan of Khalil Cole. For those of y'all who don't know, and for those that know me for a long time, you know that when a fighter loses, I don't throw him away. I still support him. Yes, Eric Roman is like my brother. I consider him like my brother, but I still support Khalil Cole no matter what he does in
Mhm.
his life. Shawa says that she felt like he was out of shape in his last fight. The gas tank wasn't there.
Mhm.
I hate that for him. He really looked good in your camp, she says. Um,
Thank you.
maybe so, maybe so. I don't know because he didn't look. I did notice that as well. That he never gassed under you, and he gassed that fight. He really did. Uh,
Mhm.
it might have not been noticed as much because he was getting hit with punches he shouldn't have normally would get hit with. But we pay attention to the little small stuff, and I was like, why is he getting hit with that? He normally wouldn't get hit with that. Why is he a little slower over here? Like I saw a lot of differences, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, Eric. I felt really bad for him that night. I
Yeah.
felt bad for him, man, because I know that wasn't him.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean, if you go back to the fight, you can see me in the corner because I didn't know what to do. I felt helpless.
Yeah.
No, I love all my fighters, man, and my heart is always with them, no matter what.
Mhm.
And I want all of them to succeed, whether I'm in their corner or not, whether we had a falling out or not. It doesn't matter. Like I always want these kids to win, and it hurt me seeing them in there, and it hurt me that they ain't stopped the fight when they were supposed to, right?
Mhm.
It hurt me that they were lost in that corner. It hurt me when and you could see me in the corner like screaming. If you go into like I think it's like the sixth round, because the fifth round he gave everything he had. He had nothing left after that. He went toe to toe with him. He gave the crowd like everything he had left in his tank, and I knew he was done. I knew it. And I
Mhm.
ran to the corner. I started screaming for him to throw the towel in. Throw the towel, throw the towel, throw the towel, please throw the towel. And
Hey,
one of them dudes, uh, some new guy, I don't really know him, but he turned and looked at me and he just did this. That's who you got in your corner, man. And then we got a problem, bro. You know what I mean? Like that's his life on the line. His baby son was watching ringside, man. You gonna let him just stay out there and get beat up for nothing? Like for what, man? Like because of your pride or your ego? Let all that shit go, man. This is life on the line, bro. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it hurt me when that happened because it showed that see if I was there, if that happened in my corner, I would have stopped the fight no matter what. I don't
yeah,
care if he
yeah,
said don't stop the fight. No, I don't care. All fighters say don't stop the fight. As a
yeah.
coach, you're supposed to know that. As a coach, see, this is my problem with coaches that don't got fights, that never been in the ring before.
Mhm.
You don't know what your fighter's going through.
Correct.
If I look in my fighter's eyes, I know when he's telling me without telling me, stop, please stop the fight. I
Yep.
don't want to go through this shit no more.
You know who
I,
else is
kn- I know if we had a bad training camp, I know, yeah, I'm gonna stop this
Mhm.
fight. I know he ain't got shit left. You know.
Another coach that's really good at doing that is Coach Nelson Rodriguez.
Shout out to Coach Nelson.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Nelson, man. I remember when Pitufo was fighting Navarrete, and
Yeah. Yep.
Pitufo wanted to continue, man, but Coach looked at his family, man, his wife, his kids. He turned
Yeah.
around, nah, bro, I gotta stop this, bro. I can't let you go out there
Hmm.
like that no more. I can't,
Hmm.
I love
Yeah,
you
I
too,
remember that.
man.
Yep. Yep.
So
And at the end of the day, your fighters will respect you for that.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know. Most of the time, we all know what Wilder did to my boy Mark Braylon. I don't want to bring that up, but you know,
Well,
Mark Braylon saved his ass, and he destroyed him after that. And it was like, bro, he saved you. Some fighters, you know, I won't say some, just Wilder didn't get it that night. You know, most fighters like Pitufo keep you around, say, nah, he cares about me. You know, and that's what you want in a coach, somebody that's gonna save your damn life, man. You know, that's what our job is, part of our job. If you can't trust me to save your life, who can you trust? You know what I mean?
One last thing we're gonna address, right? And then I'm probably
Mhm.
gonna let you go after this, but I have to ask you because the big fight is the two Davids, Morel, Benavidez.
Yes.
What you think of that fight? Who you rocking with? How you see it playing out? You know.
So okay, um, upon the build up, I really wasn't watching much of it, right? And I don't know much about David Morrell, so I just been saying, Benavidez should beat him, you know. But the last few days, I said, you know what? Let me start watching some of this stuff. So I watched, the stuff they got on Prime, um, them in training camp, all the meetups they had, the stare downs, all that good stuff. Them talking, and now I'm super hype about the fight. And now it's 50-50 to me because I'm like, damn, they
Ooh,
don't like each other at all. This is
right.
bad blood for real. You know, it's not one of those fake, built up things, But from what I still see, I'm still gonna ride with Benavidez,
Mm.
right? But it ain't gonna be easy. Morel's a dog. I didn't like the way he looked his last fight, but I also didn't like the way Benavidez looked his last fight. You know,
Right.
um, is that how they're gonna look at 175? Then that's gonna suck because they both look like shit.
Yeah.
If that was just two bad nights, cool, and they both go in there as the stars that they are, and I think we're gonna have a hell of a night of boxing. I can't wait for it now. I'm very excited about it. I will edge Benavidez, but I will not be surprised if Morel wins.
Hey, look at Clarence McLean in the chat. No ducks on pup.
Hey, my boy.
Yeah, he has no idea we're brothers, does he? Anyway,
Nah, well, if you don't know, now you know.
yeah, now he know, man. I'm favoring Benavidez as well. I think that experience does matter in this fight, and I think he's got more professional experience, more experience under the bigger lights. Um, and like you said, Morel is a dog. I see holes in Morel though, man. That he's been getting away with that I don't think he's going to get away with like a Benavidez.
Yeah, he's
I
not gonna get
agree
away
with
with it.
you. It's going to be a tough fight because it's going to be a dog fight.
Hell
I
yeah.
hope that you know what I'm hoping that don't happen, that they both don't sit there and be tentative with each other. I swear to God, I hope that doesn't happen.
Me too. And I don't think it will. I mean, I just think they both have the mental makeup to really get in there and dog it out. I think they both kind of used to that kind of stuff. Morel coming from Cuba, hungry, really wanting to win and put food on his family's table. And Benavidez is just that guy. You already know that. So I think they're gonna dog it out, man.
You know why I favor Benavidez as well? I'm going to add this other wrinkle to it, Coach. And you said you haven't watched Morel much. I watched every single professional fight he fought.
Yeah.
And the one thing I do know about him is if you take him into the later rounds, he starts gassing.
Hmm.
And if Videz goes into
Okay.
the later rounds, he gets stronger.
Yeah, he gets strong. Yep.
So I just don't see. I'm sorry, I don't see a way for Morel to win it unless he lands one good flush shot that knocks Benavidez out. I don't see it.
That ain't happening. I can almost guarantee that ain't gonna happen.
He goes into them later rounds, and Benavidez start applying that pressure, and he keeps applying that pressure. I think it's very underrated by Benavidez because he does it to everybody. He may not look good in the first 2 or 3 rounds, and he keeps coming. He keeps coming. He's being pesky. He keeps poking at your body. He keeps smacking you in your face. And next thing you know, 6 rounds, 7 rounds coming, and you're, damn, this motherfucker keeps coming. And that's when he starts looking great, man. And I see that happening with David Morrell. He better work on that cardio going into this fight because he's gonna get fucked up if he don't. Fucked up, man. Mark my words
There
on
we go. There you have it.
And Damn, bro, man, we done been on here for a while, man. You got any? I don't want to hold you up too long, man. So, any
No,
got
I'm
any?
good, man. I made time, so we good.
Did you? Okay, yeah, man. Because I mean, that was the breakdown I was looking at, man. And I am with the experience part two. Said Sharwa, more layers to his game. See, there's a lot of things that I'm looking at like that, Coach. And Morel, I think it's. I'm gonna say this, man. It's probably similar to Berlanga going in there with Canelo. I think Morel needed 2 more fights before swimming in there like that with that shark.
You don't give him props for the amateur experience?
I don't, and I'm gonna tell you why. And I know you may agree, you may disagree. I know we're gonna look at it differently, man. Some amateur fighters are meant to fight in the amateurs and can't fight in the pros, whereas some amateur fighters are not meant to fight in amateurs, will lose their ass in amateurs, but their style is more professional and they'll flourish more in the pros. And David, I'll give you an example, like what's his name? That dude that God damn, I can't remember his name now, man. He won the Olympic for Cuba twice and shit. He came in there, lost his pro debut, and then he lost his last fight.
Ramirez.
Yeah, man. His style never. And yes, he got hot and he started to look good and all that. But from day one, I said his style is just not a pro style. I said it. And and I think the same thing with Morel. I think Morel is actually moving into that pro style, but he's not quite completely made the transfer yet. Not that he's not going to, Coach, but I don't think it's 100% completed yet. That transformation is not all the way there, and that's the part that worries me with him going into this fight. And that's why I say I think he needed 1, maybe 2 more fights before swimming in there with that big shark. But I gotta give them all the respect because we're always clamoring and wanting these big fights. Let's the best. We need to see these fights, and they both to the plate and said, "Let's collide right now." And I gotta respect that, no matter what.
Yeah, it's cool. I think you know what the problem is. I think in a way, you see how like Floyd Mayweather kind of, even though he was great and everything, but he kind of fucked up the game by saying, the undefeated record, he put it on a pedestal, and now that's why everybody's kind of scared to fight each other because they don't want to lose that O and all that, right? I think Lomachenko also fucked up the game by walking in here with his gold medals and saying, I want to fight for the world title right away. And now we kind of seeing everybody get rushed into world titles, right? Now everybody wants to see Andy Cruz versus Keyshawn Davis right now, right? And although it could be a good fight, like why can't we allow these guys to mature a little bit more as professionals, right? Have you seen Andy Cruz's fights?
Yes.
His first couple was a little boring and okay, that was cool. That was cute. Until the last one where you go, okay, there we go. That's what we're looking for. He got a good stoppage, right? He looked really good against a game opponent. Why not keep building these guys up to? At the end of the day, everybody's human, right?
Yeah.
Now, you gotta fight under the bright lights a few times, man. You can't just throw them out there.
I know Andy Cruz beat Keyshawn, several times in amateurs. I don't think right now he beats him right now if there was to fight today. I don't think he beats Keyshawn.
That would be a very hard fight for him. Keyshawn right now is looking phenomenal.
Right.
Keyshawn looks phenomenal. Andy looked really good his last fight. Andy, I would love to see Andy at least give me 10 more fights where I can see him keep growing and building, because I think he's going to be phenomenal as well. I mean, I've been in the gym with him. I've spoken to him. Like I've picked his brain to see like who he is as a fighter. I like to pick fighters' brains to see what they're made of mentally. And mentally, he's that dude. Like super confident. I can see why he won the gold medals. I can see why he beat Keyshawn in the amateurs.
Right.
But now he has to translate that to the professional ranks. And that's not easy, man. And we've seen that with Robeisy Ramirez. We've seen it. You know what I mean? So give these guys a little more time. Yeah, I think that Morel might have a little trouble now. Now that you mentioned that, the experience. I do give him, I do give him respect for the amateur wins and all that, but this is a different ball game, and Benavidez is a true professional. So, you know,
I
that's
see what
that.
Shawa says. I think we answered Shawa's question about do you think he still fights his amateur style. She thinks that he does, and she watches a lot of film. She says if you go look at his amateur film, it's almost like a mirror, which is what I was trying to refer to when I was telling you about this. Um, she watches a lot of film, Coach.
Okay, that's good. She said, wait, whereas Keyshawn started with four and then progressed. See, I didn't like Keyshawn his first the run, the beginning of his career until now. I was impressed his last fight with Limos. That's
Yeah,
when I became a believer. Before that, I was like, I like him, he's good, but man, is he like that dude like that? Is he really like that good? And I've been in the gym with him too, and he trains hard, he does everything right. But that Limos fight, I said, boy, that's a champion right there,
yeah.
man. I think he's gonna do this guy even dirtier. You know, I think he's gonna be a world champion in a few weeks, on the big stage in Madison Square Garden. I'm excited for him, and I think he's a breath of fresh air to boxing. He did state that. I'm sorry, I liked when the Pedraza fight as well. That was when I really became a believer. But the Limos fight was
Right,
impressive, boy.
right,
He smoked that dude, man. So I'm a big believer in what Keyshawn is gonna do in boxing. I think he is gonna do as he says, move all the way up to 147 at some point in his career, and he's gonna be a great asset to the sport. Was he gonna win every fight? You know, I mean, like they said, man, we got to bring people being comfortable with L's back, because if not, then we're not going to see the great fights. Can Keyshawn go on a crazy run where he beats all these guys and tank and moves up and fights Teofimo and Hitchens and then moves up and fights the Boots of the world and all those guys? Some heavy hitters, my boy. And if you lost a couple of them, I wouldn't be mad at you. And I think you'd do great against everybody. So, you know,
What do you think about Keyshawn and Shakur being in the same weight class, not wanting to fight each other? I don't know, man. Like for me, I don't like that, but
uh,
I just think at the end of the day, man, you got to find out who the best is at the end of the day.
yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go back to a video I saw years ago, of an interview with Mike McCallum. I brought his name up before. Look, I'm bringing it up again. He is one of the, greatest of all time that didn't get just due, most underrated, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
He said in the interview, um, I forget where he was at. It might have been the Hall of Fame. Yes, it was the Hall of Fame, and he was sitting next to Marvin Hagler, and McCallum was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and Hagler shook his hand and he said, "Yo, man, I'm glad you're here, man. I love you, brother." And McCallum said, "You don't love me." And he was like, "Yeah, I do." And he was like, "No, you don't, man. You
Mm-hmm.
don't love me, man. Because if you really loved me, you would have fought me. Because you knew what it meant for me if you would have fought me. It would have been the biggest payday of my career. And who cares if you would have lost? We would have had a rematch, and it would have been even bigger. And for you to say you love me and you're my friend right now is bullshit. Because if you really did, you would have fought me." And I think about that when I see Key and Core, you
Yep.
know, because I go, damn, man, if you really, really like that, do you know how big that fight would be in a year from now, let's say, when Keyshawn really builds his resume up? 2 years from now, you know?
He's fighting
Oh
for a
boy.
title against Barichek next,
Yeah,
though. He'll be one
that's
of
what
the
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It could be huge. It could be huge. And I mean, they're both gonna make money, but I would love to see it. I would love to see
Why
it.
not break bread with your friend? Break bread together.
That's right. That's right. I'm all for it. It's funny because look, um, We was in the gym the other day. Remember I spoke about the kid Ramon Ordonez is in the gym with us, right? His dad and I were talking, and we were talking about that specifically, and we said, "Yo, if Malito got to fight Razor Ramon in the future as pros," I looked at him, he looked at me, he was like, "Shit, we're gonna have to act like we hate each other, brother." And I said, "I'm cool with that, long as that payday's there." You know what I'm saying? As
Right.
long as the fans are gonna love it and they want it. If the fans want it, why not? Why not? Why not? If they gonna get rich off each other. Know what I mean?
That's another good one right there, man. Mike told Floyd and Zab if they real friends, they will fight and get each other paid, and they did.
And they sure did. And they
Newark
and
versus
they and they
Norfolk.
stayed and they stayed friends afterwards. Yep.
You know what Shaw was say? She said Denny's is kind of patterned like a Loma, good angles and yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, they eventually gonna have to unify, you know, and I like it, you know, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Roy Jones even said it, man. You don't have friends in the weight class below you, the one above you, or the one you in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If not, you know, we got
Mm-hmm.
time for them games. You know, we got to get it on. We got to get it
Mm-hmm.
on, man. Let's
That's
get
right.
paid. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's where I'm at with it, man. As far as Puerto Rican boxing, man, who do you see that's gonna make a big splash for Puerto Rico, man, coming soon, man? Do you have your eye on any particular prospect now? Prospect wise.
Mm, yeah, there's a lot of good young names coming up. Um, let me first say this, right? Right now in Puerto Rico boxing in 2025, the three fighters that are gonna have the big years is Edgar Berlanga, Xander Zayas, and then the man who's the world champion right now, Oscar Collazo, who's one of the best fighters. I think you could say he's maybe number 10 on the pound for pound list.
I got him pound for
From
pound, actually. I
Yeah.
actually got him pound for pound.
So let's talk about them three first, saying, those three guys in 2025 are gonna make the most noise for Puerto Rico. If you are Puerto Rican, I better see all y'all backing them up because all we got is us, right?
Look at
So
that
that's
flag,
right,
bro. Look
brother.
at that flag. Look at that.
So, hmm and as far as prospects coming up, um, let me throw a couple names out there.
Can I throw
We
one before you do that?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm gonna throw one that Mark Ferret got over there. Dominic Valle. I like him.
Yeah, I haven't really got to see much of him yet, Um, I've seen clips, little highlights of him. He seems good, seems strong, seems well schooled. Obviously, he's with Mark, so he's going to be well schooled.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I'll probably after we're done here, I'll probably look him up on YouTube and see what he got. Um, but there's a couple young guys that I'm gonna say because I've seen them, I watched them fight in the amateurs, and I think they're gonna make big noise in the future. One of them is a kid named Carlos De Leon.
Mhm.
He just signed with Box Lab. Um,
I know him.
he fought at 132 in the amateurs. He's a bad boy. That's a bad
Amari
boy.
signed him?
Say, yeah, yeah,
Oh wow, okay, cool. I'm
hmm
gonna have to give him a call, man. I didn't know he signed him. Shoot,
yeah.
that's good.
And then the second one is Juanita Lopez,
Oh
Juan,
yeah,
my son.
debut. Ain't he about
He's
to
gonna
debut
debut
on the undercard?
February 14th, I believe. He's debuting.
Yeah. Yep.
He's gonna be phenomenal for us as well. He's a good boxer, pure boxer, very very not much of the mold of his dad. His dad was a puncher, come forward type. Juanita's more of a boxer.
Mhm.
So um and he's sharp. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be nice to see him as a professional and how he grows, you know. And then of course, hopefully by the end of 2025, we'll have Malito making his pro debut, you know, and then we're really cooking.
I got another name to add in there. I think Keith Cologne is gonna make a splash too.
And Keith Colon too. Keith Colon from Newark. Shout out to Keith Colon. He's a great young fighter.
Yeah.
Um, him and his dad. they did a lot of good stuff in the amateurs. They built him properly, you know,
Yeah.
super confident kid. Um, and he's gonna make a lot of noise as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Keith Cologne's dad, man. That's good friend, man. That's a valuable person on my side, man. He gave me a home remedy medicine, man, for a condition I got, man, and it helped me out a lot.
Really?
So
Oh, that's good.
yeah. The
Thank
man,
God. God is good.
solid guy, very solid guy, man. And
Mhm.
Dominique Valle, he's got a brother, and Najee Lopez is another name I didn't want to forget to mention. I like Najee Lopez a lot. Dominique has a brother named Marquez, and I had them both on my platform one time, and it was kind of a hard interview because what drew me was Dominique Valle, not Marquez, not the older brother,
Okay.
right? And they were asking me why, and then I had to make the hard, tough decision to tell them why,
Mhm.
and it wasn't to knock Marquez because I think Marquez can fight as well, but I'm more of a fundamentalist, and I looked at Dominique Valle and he was more fundamentally sound. He boxed better. You know what I'm saying? He showed a little bit more patience. And it's something weird that the younger brother looked more polished than the older brother. I don't know how to
Mm.
explain it, but it's almost like he took the teachings quicker, you know? And that
Mhm.
doesn't take away from Marquez. I think Marquez is a hell of a fighter. I just don't think he's better than his little brother.
Sometimes when you have a a brother tandem in a gym, right, and they start at a young age, the younger one is gonna get the best of it because he's getting it um, at a more at a adolescent age where he can soak it in better, right? And he's not. You can groom that kid more than the older one because the older one might be already kind of like coordinated the way he's going to be coordinated, or like it just turns out that way sometimes. And then as they grow into adults, obviously the younger one had more years, like, and things happen where the younger one kind of gets better. It happens a lot in boxing. I've seen it a lot. You know, shout out
Yeah.
to my brother. Shout out to my brother, but I would have whooped his ass once we got older.
Oh, man, no doubt. I tell my brother that all the time. I tell my brother he can't beat me too. Shit. Right. You know?
And
But
he's probably watching right now, so he
hey,
know
my
what's
brother
up.
is too. My brother is too. Shit. Hey, but you know what? The same thing happened with Najee Lopez. He's got an older brother, and they were fighting on the same card until his older brother finally lost.
Mhm.
And I don't know why I haven't seen him fight after that. I don't know why. Like it wasn't like a bad
Man,
loss.
a lot of these kids, man, a lot of these kids, and I don't want to say that about him specifically because I don't know him, but a lot of these kids really don't want to box, bro. And
Mm.
some of them is dying to lose. I was just talking to
Well,
somebody the other day. They said they lost, but it was a kickboxing guy, and he lost, and he said, man, I wanted that to happen so bad." I said, "What? Man, what's wrong with some of these guys, man? The mental makeup is like, then if you don't want to be here, man, then don't fight, man. Because now you're not giving your all to this sport. You're gonna get hurt, man."
let me give you a little backstory on the Lopez brothers, though, man, which I think it affected one more than the other. Their father died in 2020, and they kind of like both lost the hunger for
Mm,
boxing, and
tough.
one of them gained it, and the other one just couldn't grab it all the way. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And that's what I really believe ended up happening. But Najee used it as a chip on the shoulder and said, "No, man, I promised my dad I was gonna, make it here, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do
Hmm.
that." And he's gone, but I'm gonna prove him right and shit. So he's got that drive in him to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I like
that's
that
what's up.
about him, man. Promise
Yeah.
ass John Paul Rivera. That's another one, man. He's
Hmm.
very promising as well. Man, there's a lot of names, man. We're not, it's like I told them, they want me to make a top 10 Puerto Rican prospect list, right, coach?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna forget somebody. There's so
Yeah.
many, I'm gonna forget somebody, and there's always gonna be somebody mad at me.
Yeah.
You ain't put him on the list. Why you ain't put me on the list? Julio Michael Solis. Why you ain't put me on the list? And I'm like,
Yeah.
man, bro. And sometimes it means that I don't remember all the names, and it's hard for me to sift through them and
It
stuff.
ain't
So
easy.
that what I did was I put a community post and say, man, throw me all the names y'all want, and then from there I'll sift through them, you know, because
that's the way you're gonna have to do it.
I'm gonna forget somebody. It's just inevitable, man. Inevitable at all, man. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, well, of course we're gonna say that, man. You gotta watch for Malito Gang, bro. What the fuck we talking about?
Malito Gang. Yeah, everybody listen. Everybody get your Malito Gang merch. MalitoGang.com. There you go. See?
Oh shit,
My t-shirt on right there. MalitoGang.com.
Y'all go get your merch over there, man. You
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, man. Look, Coach, I appreciate you taking time with me, man. We got to do this again because I always love talking with you, man.
Yes, sir.
Great having you. It's a breath of fresh air, man. This show went through smoothly, man. You got any last words, people?
No, just you know, keep on the lookout for us. You know what I mean? We got a lot of young fighters coming out of my camp. A lot of young fighters that I work with also in other gyms that come in every now and then, you know, like heavyweight, number one heavyweight Malachi Georges, who's out in Team USA training camp as well. Watch out for him. He's going to be a superstar when he turns pro. Malito Ramon Ordonez. I got a big heavyweight young boy named Giant Ian Jeffrey. This kid is 6'7", 300 pounds, out of Brooklyn, New York. He gonna start making some noise soon. And listen, man, like shout out to everybody I've worked with in the past. You know, this weekend we got a nice card with Diego Pacheco fighting Steven Nelson, and on the undercard is a kid that I worked with. You know, we don't see eye to eye anymore. Him and me and his dad don't see eye to eye. His name is Harley Maderos. But remember Harley. But I, like I said, I got love for all the kids I ever worked with. I want them to succeed. I hope Harley looks phenomenal on Saturday night, as I know he will. And shout out to him and his family and his team. And listen, man, I just want everybody to sit back, keep watching, and be ready for Malito Gang because it's gonna be different. After this year in amateur boxing, depending on what we do, if he decides to turn pro, it's gonna be different, man. And you're gonna see a superstar. And everybody out in Puerto Rico, everybody in New York City, they're gonna have somebody to root for because he's a good kid, he's exciting, and you're just gonna watch and see.
Hey, Clarence McLean said he'll see you later this week. Clarence McLean be mad at me, man, because he's like, hey, man, you need to come on up. You need to come up to New York, man. And you know what? He's right, because the last time Eddie came to Florida, so he did come to Florida. So it is my turn. It is my turn. So I got to pick a good time to travel up that way. You know what I'm saying? I've never been big on going to New York because I don't like to travel without my gun.
Yeah. Well, I think good old Donnie Boy Trump might be changing all that stuff now. So let's see.
Let's see, man. Let's see. But yeah, no, it is definitely my turn, man. Definitely that, man. But by the way, I appreciate meeting up with you at in Florida, man. We was at a card and we had a blast. Shit, man. Yeah, man.
Sir.
But man, I appreciate you coming. I appreciate everybody that tuned in to the show, man. Eric, you know, I'm gonna probably do about a 50 billion shorts off of this live. So
just I'm glad I gave you enough material.
Hey, if you see a bunch of shorts floating around, Shawa, it was comfy. Shawa be giving me hell about them shorts. Man, how you put them shorts up so quick? I'm like, man, leave me alone, man. I'm just trying to do my thing, man. Look, I lost my big channel, the main one, and I lost a lot of content there. I had a lot of dope interviews there and all that. So this channel, I'm starting from scratch and I'm rebuilding it. And so I'm trying to, get some good quality shit going over here. You know what I mean, man? But yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, I appreciate you, Coach, man. I'm going to let you have the rest of your day, all right?
All right, sounds good. Yo, Thomas, I'll see you out there February 14th, no doubt, brother. And maybe we'll chop it up. We'll do a little interview or something.
Yes, indeed, man. Good people.
Yeah. That's when you should come, Kano. February 14th.
February 14th, what's going on?
Forget Valentine's Day, man. It's Boxing Day. We'll forget all that love stuff.
February. Hold on. Who's fighting February 14th? What's going on?
Keyshawn. It's a big
Oh,
card. Abdullah's fighting
oh,
Keyshawn, all them guys on there.
oh. Man, I like Abdullah Mason a lot, by the way.
Yeah, it's my brother too, little bro. Shout
Oh,
out Valiant Mason doing wonderful things with his sons. You know, that's the next Judah family. The Mason brothers, they coming up, man. Big stuff. So
yeah.
I'm proud of all of them.
I was telling people,
No
man,
doubt.
on my live yesterday, man. See, I was gonna let you go, but man, I gotta tell you this, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was telling people, man, how he checked boxes for me in his last fight. I didn't look at it as a bad thing because he checked the boxes of he got that dog in him. What's gonna happen if he gets clipped? This and that. We already got the answer.
Yep.
We got the answer.
Yep. We got that. Yep.
So
Yep.
and that's what I wanted to say before
Yeah, he looks phenomenal. And he stopped him in the same round. You know,
yeah, bro.
like what more do you want from a young kid like that, man? You know, they gonna get touched.
Get touched,
you know?
man.
So he got up and he did what he had to do. You know,
Man, I agree, man. We are 100 on that.
if you come up, I promise you this. I'll set up a sparring day that week. Maybe it'll be like during the press conference day, Wednesday or something like that, for the February 14th fight. I'll set up a sparring day and I'll have the Mason brothers come in and I'll have them sparring. I'll have someone spar with Malito too. And then, you know, Abdullah won't because he'll be on fight week, but the brothers will. How about that? I'll call his pops. We set that up.
Hey, man, that would be dope as hell. And it'd be also dope if he could bring my biggest enemy out there so he could spar with me too.
Who that?
You know, just make him sign a waiver though.
Who that?
Can't tell you his name. I ain't gonna tell you his name on live, man.
Okay.
Just make him sign a waiver.
I bet.
As long as that
Say
waiver
less.
signed, Say less. I'm gone. I'm going in.
Say less. Oh, wait, you want to do it? You want to do it with gloves on, or you want to do it bare knuckle?
Hey, man, it don't matter. We'll leave that up to him.
I like your style.
You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be his choice. He gonna get this work regardless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, cool.
Man, hey, I appreciate everybody that tuned in.
Brother. Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
All right, bro. Take care, bro. Wow. All right, man. That was Eric, Eric Roman Senior, man. Good brother of mine and shit like that, man. We always enjoy that. No, man, I really do mean that because a lot of these people be talking shit, man. And I'm like, what would they do if they get in the ring with me for real? You know, what would they really do? Because, I mean, they're always saying, Connell's old. You know, he look like he moving slow. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he can punch. You know what I'm saying? So, I just want to know. I'm just trying to see something. You know what I'm saying? 903 boxing in the building. Salute, man. You came a little late, man. You came a little late, right? And Shawa, you know I'm going to make some shorts, right, Shawa? And please tell me I did not leave you hanging today. Please tell me I did not leave you hanging today and I gave you a full show today, Shawa. If I gave you a full show, press 9. Shawa. This question is for Shawa now. Press 9 if I give you a full show, not Shawa. She be like, man, you be leaving us hanging, bro. You be leaving us hanging. You start cooking. 903 be telling me that shit too, You're like, oh, man, you start cooking and then you end the live, bro. Like, what are you doing, bro? You left us hanging. Like, what the fuck? Nah, you did me good, just all right. Hey, look, I was just asking for a dime, man. Well, anyway, man, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Everybody that tuned in on the X app, I see y'all over there. I appreciate y'all. Joe Townsend in the building. Everybody that tuned in on the Facebook, I appreciate y'all as well. I see my people here on YouTube as well. This is always brought to you by CO Management, DV Tracksuits. Big shout out to the mighty LDBC. Cono Local TV, man, we out of here. On to the next